Good morning and welcome to Inside Oakwood with Dr. Leslie Pollard today for this triumphant Thursday. Good morning, Dr. Pollard. How you doing this morning? We're ready to talk about all the great things that are happening at Oakwood University. How's it going?
Hey, going good. Good morning, Donna. Good morning, and good morning to all of our panelists. We're excited to be able to talk about the wonderful preparations that have been made that are going to be a blessing to the students who are returning to campus. A ton of work has been done. I published a letter yesterday, Donna, kind of outlining some of the things that have been, and just in writing the letter, I got tired because there was so there's so much work that is being generated and that is being done. I mean, it's really exciting. And of course, we're excited to welcome students back for a brand new school year.
Wow.
In spite of the pandemic and being careful about that, but
Yeah.
it doesn't dampen our enthusiasm for bringing them back to campus.
Wow. So do you have a word for us today before we dive in deep
Yes,
into the
yes, yes, yes.
discussion?
Yes, and I'm going to keep it very brief. You know, I really love wisdom sayings, so I collect them from around the world.
Yes.
I've got some wonderful sayings. A friend of mine from Haiti gave me one. He said, "Never wrestle with a pig, because
Mm-hmm.
both of you will get dirty, but the pig will like it." Isn't that a
I
great
like that.
saying?
I
Isn't
like
that a
that.
great saying? So when people try to pull you down, don't get down in the ditch with them. You'll both get dirty, but they will like it. So that's one. So I collect these. So here are some. They are just a few that I've collected from different places. And I call them lessons for living. You know, when my children were growing up, we talk about life lessons. Say, okay, so
Mhm.
what's the life lesson here? And they'd roll their eyes. Sometimes you don't you remember doing that, Donna, when your
Yeah.
parents
Well, it's just blah, 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 like Charlie
here we
Brown.
go, here we go. But here is one. Okay, so these are simple things, but here's one. Your shoes are the first thing that people notice about you. So wear nice shoes.
I agree with that. I agree
Right?
with that.
Okay. Um, so here's another. I'll give you another. Um, uh, People who laugh a lot are healthier than those who don't. Right?
True,
That's a
true.
good saying. Right.
Yes,
That's
yes.
good. And then here is maybe one more. Here is one that I read today that was just I thought was okay. You don't have to win every argument.
Mm.
Agree to disagree.
Mhm.
Isn't that a nice one? That's a nice one.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then here's the last one. Here is the very last one. Here's the last one, and we'll end with this one. Um, what people think about you is none of your business.
Mm. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
That's a good one, isn't it? What people think about you is none
Yes,
of your business. So,
absolutely.
so, so let's keep our eyes focused on Christ and His purpose for us, and all will be well. So that's our word for the day. That's our word for the day.
That's it. I love that. That's very encouraging today because we got to talk about a very serious issue. That is the student life and in the midst of this pandemic that we're going through. And as we see the numbers going up, Dr. Pollard, as far as the cases, people coming down with the
Hmm.
coronavirus now, I'm sure that the university now has to think again about how it's moving forward, maybe add some procedures and things like that. You want to say a little bit about that just to give us an overview of
Oh yes.
why you were getting so weary yesterday in writing this letter.
And I was writing that letter. Okay, so about 2 years ago, we formed what was called the University Responsiveness Task Force. In February of 2020, we formed the University Responsiveness Task Force, 40 leaders from the campus who were charged with helping us navigate the pandemic. Out of that grew a number of key things. Number one, first of all, a reopening plan, a plan that accounted for all of the CDC protocols, as well as the Alabama Department of Public Health. Out of that grew a public health subcommittee, who is represented today by Dr. Lisa Dalrymple, and the chair of our URT, University Responsive Task Force, is here too, Dr. Karen Ben Marshall. So, and then we have others, and we'll introduce them as we go. So out of that came a public health committee who monitored CDC regulations, and sometimes they actually changed
Mhm.
within the week, right? Within the week.
Yes,
We just
they've
got to
changed.
change
Yes,
yesterday. We just got to
right.
change yesterday or the day before. So then we did that. So out of that came now what the protocols were for keeping the campus safe. What kind of hygienic equipment was needed? We purchased almost $500,000 worth of safety products to protect the campus. How do we help our partners interface with the campus? We're an employee base of about 320, 325 people. But of course, we've got academy, we've got elementary, we've got ASCTE, Alabama School of Cyber Technology, who is with us temporarily until June of 2022. We've got Oakwood University Church members coming onto the campus. We've got other visitors who come. How do we manage all of that? So we put together strategies and plans to help us keep the campus safe. We made some determinations this summer that we will talk about today. We decided to require testing and to encourage vaccination, right? So that language is very important. We require testing, we encourage vaccination. So when you think about all of the things that have been done, and this represents, I want to say, hundreds, if not thousands of person hours of work that have gone into this. And so today is actually Employee Testing Day. And we are doing that at our new Community Health Action Center. Dr. Dalrymple, you'll be pleased to know that I went on this morning and I registered ahead of time. I don't know if that'll get me out faster, but you'll be able to give us the link so that people can register ahead of time. And we are requiring every employee, as we begin colloquium on August the 2nd, which is Monday, we're requiring every employee to present a negative COVID test, right? And then our team will tell you about what the details of that look like. We also have similar requirements for students who will be entering into our residence halls and onto campus. And so our AVP for Student Services is here, Student Life Admission is here, Dean Adrienne Matthews. And so we're going to have a great conversation this morning as we talk about how we are making Oakwood University the safest campus in Huntsville. That's what we're doing. Okay, so that's what
all right. So Dr. Karen Benn Marshall, I have to start with you because, you're overseeing all of this. You're sort of leading all of the work that's being done in this area. And with the numbers going up with COVID-19, the cases going up, and just this week, the governor signs a vaccine passport ban. We're still going to be requiring this testing. So how has your planning, it seems like this document that you started a year and a half ago is just a living document, continues to grow and develop. So how does this new information now impact your plans?
That's a great question, Donna, and thank you for that. And thank you for setting the stage for our conversation today, Dr. Pollard, because as he said, the document that we started a year and a half ago when we released the fall 2020 reopening plan, that document really sustains us today. Dr. Dalrymple and Dr. Henry and the Public Health Committee, they actually went through that document in detail, fine-tuning those pieces and looking at every element of what we proposed last year with the protocols, mapping those against the CDC guidelines, but then even further drilling down to what does CDC say for specifically for institutions of higher education. So making sure that we are consistent with that, also consistent with what the state of Alabama is saying, and so what our Attorney General is saying. So really trying to make sure that we look at all of those elements, because as Dr. Pollard said, our ultimate goal is to keep our campus safe. We're not just talking about for our students, we're talking about for our employees, we're talking for anybody who comes on our campus. And so it's really critical that, and we found last year that if we in fact followed our protocols, that the institution in fact did stay safe. And so those protocols, those structures that we fine-tune in place, Student Life, what Dean Matthews and her team and Dr. Richardson are doing, just all of that is just so critical. We on the employee side have to follow the protocols, that we made sure that we said, you've got to wear your mask. I don't care if we don't care if you're vaccinated, you're not vaccinated. We just keep our mask on. We continue to keep up our we do the 3 feet distancing. And if you can, please do 6 feet. So our classrooms, just everything, just really trying to be intentional about keeping our campus safe.
Right. So, and we've always taken that position. So this new ban on vaccine passports really didn't impact us, or doesn't, because we're following other protocols that help us get around that.
Yes, I believe so. And I think the structures that we have in place, God's been really good to our institution. It's clear that we are a praying campus. It's clear that our constituents, our stakeholders pray for us, and they truly believe that there is a God, because he really has truly kept our campus safe.
All right. So Dr. Dalrymple, tell us about the vaccinations. They are not mandatory, right? but what is mandatory is continued testing. Am I correct, Dr.
That,
Dalrymple?
that is correct. Thank you so much, Donna. So as Dr. Pollard and Dr. Ben Marshall mentioned, we are not requiring vaccination, but we definitely are encouraging vaccination. We are requiring testing, even if you have been vaccinated. We are requiring testing, and we are requiring for both our students and our employees submission of a negative COVID test at least 10 days, within 10 days prior to entering our campus. And so we're so happy that we receive funding through grants to assist us with this process. And so we are offering testing starting today, as Dr. Pollard mentioned, with our employees. And we want to say that we're not only concerned about the safety of our Oakwood University students and our employees. This campus houses many entities, as was mentioned. So the State School Alabama School of Cyber Technology, Oakwood Academy, we are ensuring that they too will be safe on campus. And so we're extending these testing resources to not only Oakwood University students and employees as stated, but to the entities as well that was mentioned. So testing will begin today, has begun today for our employee base, and that is taking place at the Community Health Action Center. It's a drive-through process, so we're making it as quick and easy as possible for our employees. It will be the same for our students. And we are, again, although we're not requiring vaccination, we do have vaccination taking place as well at the B&T building. So I just want to say this, that those who do choose to be vaccinated, we are offering gift cards to OU Farms Market for the first 200 individuals who decide to be vaccinated. And so we just want to thank OU Farms Market for helping us with this to encourage individuals to be vaccinated, because we do know that Alabama is the lowest state for those who are vaccinated. And so we just want to make sure that we're doing our part to have our campus be as safe as possible. And we are extending our testing throughout the semester. So we're not only doing it today, we're not only doing it next week when our students return, but throughout the entire semester, we're working with Student Life, Dean Matthews and Dr. Richardson to have mandatory testing for our students, and working with HR for that as well for our employees. So we are on a roll with making sure Oakwood University and the campus is safe.
So there's going to be self-attestation as well going on?
That is correct. And so we are so both our students and our employees have to complete daily symptom tracking. And that will ensure that everyone is keeping up to what they have to do and keeping ahead of the game. And so we are having that process, self-attestation of health, that will take place.
Right. So
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No,
That was a tongue
Would you ask Dr. Dalrymple? I just want to ask you a different kind of question, related though. For the first time since we received this funding, we also made this available to our academy partners and others who are on campus. So would you say a little bit about that? Because again, it's one campus, isn't it? It's not 3 campuses, it's not 4 campuses, it's one campus. And as someone said, the virus is an equal opportunity destroyer, right? So
Yeah.
That is
if you're old, young, black, white, brown, Adventist, non-Adventist, it doesn't care. So
right. No respective of person.
mindless pathogen, as they say. I heard Dr. Hildreth from the board, the president of Meharry Medical School, say it is a mindless pathogen. It doesn't care. It doesn't care. Okay, Lisa.
That is so true. Thank you, Dr. Pollard. Thank you, President Pollard. So as mentioned, yes, our campus does house the Oakwood Adventist Academy, as well as for the time being, the Alabama School of Cyber Technology and Engineering. And so we extended these services of testing for their employees and also their students, as well as the option to be vaccinated to them as well. And so they received that invitation to join us on today for their employees. So they are in the line with Oakwood University employees today. And then starting next week, again, August 2nd through the 6th, that will be the testing period. for our students, and that includes Oakwood University students as well as our academy students and the School of Cyber Technology and Engineering students. So, this is a large community, this is a large family, and we are making sure that everyone on this campus who enters this campus will be safe. So before you can enter our campus, you have to submit a negative COVID test because we want to make sure that we stay safe.
Wow. So everyone that is on our campus has to physical distance as well, wear the mask covering, and follow cleaning procedures, testing, and all of that. That's great. So that helps us feel like we're safer now. And we know that the Oakwood University campus is prepared for whatever may be coming ahead for us. So let's talk about the residential life. Dean Adrienne Matthews, can you tell us about how, as we get closer and closer to students coming on campus and classes starting, how all of the changes that have happened are now impacting residential life?
Well, thank you so much, Donna. It's a pleasure to be here with you and my colleagues. So yes, residential life, we are looking so forward to the time when our students will be returning and our new students will be arriving. And as you can see behind me, the theme, live, learn, and play safely. We are going to come out strong with activities for our students outside of the residence hall, meaning outdoor spaces, and engaging them in meaningful activities through our activity director and also through our residential life. I know the residential life staff is planning to have some welcome back events for our students outside, and as well as indoors, that the activities that and programming that our deans are planning are going to engage our students at a very deep level. So we're really looking forward to that. And so I want to just piggyback on something that Dr. Dalrymple mentioned about the symptom tracker, which we want to really, really stress with our students returning, that the symptom tracker is essential to maintaining that COVID, those low COVID spread of the vaccine, of the virus, sorry. And so we want to make sure that they know that it's on their D2L, that it will be announced in their classrooms every morning. Have you done your symptom tracker? So that we can continue to monitor as a campus how we are feeling and how we're doing. That is very important. And also, just to note that Dr. Dalrymple talked about the mandatory testing. I want to stress that our off-campus students who sometimes feel like they are in a separate universe, you are still a part of our campus. And we want you to understand as well that the mandatory testing applies to you as well. And so those schedule appointments, scheduled testing dates will be posted if they haven't already been posted. And so we want to make sure that our residential students and our off-campus students are maintaining the safety of our entire community.
Now, have there been any other adjustments with regard to whether a student can get a single room occupancy and things like that?
Yes, we have single rooms in all of our residence halls this semester. And so those are requested through the residence hall deans. And so I know that we are filling up. The students are anxious to get those single rooms because we are wanting to give a feeling of an apartment style environment in our residence halls. And we felt that if we offered the single room occupancies, that would help to support that apartment style living. And so, yes, in addition to that, we are so happy to announce today that our extended curfew hours have been approved. And those will be posted on our website so that the students will know how they fit into those extended curfew hours across the classifications, student classifications on our campus.
Now, what are those curfew hours though, specifically?
Yes, thank you for asking that. So the curfew hours for juniors and seniors Sunday through Thursday is at 2 a.m. and Friday 11:30 p.m. And then for sophomores, Sunday through Thursday is 1 a.m. curfew. And if you are a sophomore, you will need to submit a late leave for that. And then on Friday, 11:30 for sophomores, and Saturday at 1 a.m. for sophomores. Our freshman curfew will remain at 12 a.m. Sunday through Thursday, Friday 11:30, and Saturday at 1 a.m. And West Oaks will maintain their 2 a.m. curfew. So we're trying to, as Dr. Richardson would say, loosen our belts a little bit. And we know that our students have asked for a little more freedoms. And so we are happy to announce that we have approved those extended curfews.
And are there any other changes to other student activities? Has anything changed with athletics or worship and anything like that? Any other changes, or are we going forward as we talked about last time when we spoke about this?
Yes, thank you for asking that. So our athletics will be maintaining their social distancing in our gymnasium as we start off the calendar with our sporting events. Those will be maintained as also our testing for the athletes will be very rigorous, because we know we want them to be safe as they go out to other events or competitions that they have. And then for the worships and chapels, we will be maintaining those social distancing as well as masking and the other protocol guidelines that we have in place. So we're looking forward to a spiritual revival, I'll call it, because I know last school year, our students were just itching to be together and to worship. And so we'll have that spiritual revival on our campus, and we're looking forward to that.
Amen. Well, yeah, I think that's what's going to happen as well. I agree with you. So Dr. Karen Benn Marshall, have there been any changes in the class sizes or locations? Can you speak to that?
Absolutely. Before I go to that, I did want to piggyback off for Dean Matthews' comment about the athletes. And I think that's a really important conversation, because basically the athletic program is going to have our athletes basically in a bubble, because they will be actually tested every single week.
Okay.
And so when we talk about rigorous testing, it will be rigorous testing. So any athlete that's part of the athletic program will undergo rigorous testing. And that's going to be extremely critical for us as a campus to make sure that we maintain that safety. We're also in conversation about similarly doing something really tight, rigorous for those who are part of our music program as well. And so we're exploring some additional options with that, because I think it's really critical that, as Dr. Pollard reminds us, that we've got to keep our campus safe.
Right.
In terms of our classroom, so Donna, last year we did that 6 feet measurement in terms of the classrooms. So we went in and we did a really robust review of our classroom spaces. And Dr. Pollard likes to remind us that they're actually called instructional spaces. So we've had to create environments where it may not have been what we consider a typical classroom, but making sure that we review the entire campus to review what spaces can be used as instructional spaces to ensure that we maintain social distancing. And so every single classroom has been evaluated to ensure that we have the adequate space to ensure that there is at minimum 3 feet apart from a student. In some cases, they will be in an auditorium and the class size may be 25 or 30, just to make sure that we maintain that social distance. And so we have been really intentional about that. We actually have created a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, where we've gone through, and every single school, every single department, every single class has been evaluated, and we've made adjustments to ensure that continues to happen.
Wonderful. So
And
Dr.
can I just jump in there real quick to piggyback off of Dr. Benn Marshall? We're piggybacking off of each other today. So as she stated, anywhere can become an instructional space. And so we typically think of being inside the building. But in line with our standout principles, we will be utilizing outdoor spaces as well for our classrooms. And so we're making sure that we are having the space available for our students to learn and engage. And so if that means going outside, being in the sunlight, outdoors, use of physical activities, just some of our standout principles, that's what we're doing to make this campus not only safe, but be a healthy campus as well.
Yeah, yes. All right. So we've had some town hall meetings recently. How did those go? And can you just share, I guess, Dr. Pollard, maybe, who wants to share it with us about that? And how can parents and students be a part of any upcoming town hall meetings?
Okay, so we keep the town hall meetings going because that's what keeps our conversation within our student body, beyond our student body, and with our key stakeholders. And so we've had a number of town halls, and we have another that's coming up on tonight, as a matter of fact, at 6 o'clock from 7:30. And you can see the flyer is up now, 6 o'clock to 7:30. And this is a town hall where we get the opportunity to be in dialogue and conversation, to answer questions, to provide more and more information about what's happening on campus. It gives us the opportunity to listen to our stakeholders. And those meetings, to answer your question specifically, those meetings, as the British would say, they've gone swimmingly well. Those things have gone swimmingly well.
Brilliant.
You get to, yeah, brilliant, right? That's another thing. So because what they do, Donna, and to our listening audience, they actually give us the opportunity to answer questions, some of which we've already answered and thought about, but others of which we may not have thought about. And it gives us an opportunity to go back and to work on those and then to bring back the solutions that are embedded within those questions. So it's a wonderful experience. I wanted to say a little bit about my personal motto as we move through this year, because I know we're moving toward a close. My personal motto is safely me, safely you. Safely me, safely you. The reason I'm going to follow all of the protocols is because I want to be my safest me, and I want you to be your safest you. Even though I am vaccinated, I am, and I encourage others to do the vaccination. I'm hoping that our example, each of us as leaders on the campus, can help keep this motto alive. Safely me, safely you. I think about the little children who are on our campus. Remember, our campus is more than just adults.
You're right.
When you go over to the academy and the elementary led by Principal Judy Dent, and she's doing a great job over there. I look at those little ones, I want to keep them safe too. The children in our CDL, the pre-Ks, we've got all these little 3, 4, 5-year-olds on, we want to keep them safe. So why I do it, it's not just my right. And I recognize that we're in a red state. So I want to say something about that. We're in a very red state where there's a very strong rights consciousness. Now, what I love about being a believer, personally, and a Christian, and I know many of my friends who have that very strong rights consciousness are as well, with rights come responsibilities. And so we're keeping those things balanced on our campus. We're trying to find the balance between rights and responsibilities. So the question is at this point, why don't you make people be vaccinated? Well, we'd rather persuade them to be vaccinated. I don't know legally if we can make them be vaccinated. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. But isn't it better if we can persuade them, encourage them, inspire them?
Yeah.
That this is the best way. This is what's best for you. It's what's best for the people you love. It's what's best for your family. It's best because remember, as Dr. Hildreth said from Meharry, this is a mindless pathogen. It doesn't matter if you're 80 or if you're 8. It doesn't matter if you're black or if you're white. It doesn't matter if you're tall or if you're shorter. It doesn't matter about any of that. It doesn't care about any of that. It's a mindless pathogen. And so part of what we must do is try to protect ourselves and protect others. So that's my personal motto. Safely me, safely you. I want
like
to
that.
be safe for me, and I want to make sure you're safe for you.
Amen. No matter what your vaccination status is, we can all be safe, make ourselves safe, and make others help keep others safe as well. So why don't we just remind our listeners as we close out, Dr. Pollard, when the semester is going to begin?
Okay. So on Monday, we begin colloquium, August 2nd and 3rd, Monday and Tuesday. And colloquium simply means, for those who are listening, we get the entire workforce together and we focus on the future. In this case, it's themed Mapping the Future. We've got Dr. Deblier Snell, who's going to be our guest speaker for our morning devotionals. And we're going to do work on planning out what the next 5, 7, and 10 years like at our university, because you got to think ahead, and COVID has changed everything. Then after that, beginning that week, you'll see people begin rolling in now. You see people begin rolling in. They'll start rolling in on the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Navigators are coming back. USM is coming back. We begin orienting. And then the next week, it's blast off. It's blast off. By August 8th, it's blast off. And then, of course, we've gone back, Donna, and something you remember when your dad was here. We used to end right after Thanksgiving, but we're continuing that trajectory so that right after Thanksgiving, we're closed throughout the whole Christmas semester, the whole Christmas break, although we will have many semesters within that, and you'll hear more about when it comes. And then in January, we start again. So we've got it mapped out, and we hope, praying that we will be safe. The campus will be the safest space in Huntsville.
Amen. Yes, it will. We believe that. And listen, we know that everybody has to be tested starting today. So that website you go to is, I cannot see it. Come on, Dr. Dalrymple.
Sure, sure. Thank you. The website to register for testing is oucovidtests.com. That's oucovidtests.com. You go there, you fill out your information, you select your day, you select your time, and you also select your location. And so again, we're trying to make this as easy as possible. And we are encouraging, if you are planning to be tested or choose to be vaccinated through our facilities, that you go there to pre-register to make the flow nice and easy.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Pollard, for having another great discussion about Oakwood University and the wonderful things that are happening and how we're helping ourselves stay safe and those around us stay safe as well. Join us again next week for another edition of Inside Oakwood with Dr. Leslie Pollard. We'll be talking about Oakwood University and celebrating 125 years. That's next week on Inside Oakwood. We'll see you there. Bye-bye, y'all.